I'm part of Rudolph gang over here, so we're gonna do a little shake, shake, shake. And because it's that time of the year, I have to do one Christmas joke. It's only fitting. What does Santa call the reindeer with no eyes? I have no idea. Welcome in YouTube. Thanks for joining me. I'm Doc. For those of you who are new, I hope you enjoyed my Christmas joke. I worked so hard on it. I had to type into Google Christmas jokes. Before we get into my 5 awesome rules that will help you avoid scammers at all costs, I do want to cover a few things real quick. Follow on Twitch, follow on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, join my Discord. Boom, done. Just like that, I'm done with that part of this video. I'm going to have those timestamps appear right about now, right before we head on into rule number 1. Trade with a purpose. Your trades should always be calculated, and you should be knowing what you're trying to trade before you even enter into that trading window. If you are heading into a trade to buy a fennec, you should be leaving with a fennec only. You shouldn't be leaving with a bunch of other things that you aren't sure if you got a good deal or not. You came for a fennec, you will leave with the fennec. It is much easier for scammers to take advantage of you when you don't fully know what your purpose is within the trade. When you start trading in the spur of the moment, as I like to call it, you end up running the risk of error. Within this rule, you also need to be able to take command of the spazzes out there. We all know the spazzes, and if you don't know what I mean by spaz, it's the people who come in to trade with you and they've said that they want to buy or sell you an item that you had posted, and sure enough, they start unloading their entire inventory onto the trading window. I don't think the majority of these people are scammers, but I do think that they inherently create errors upon themselves and upon you. When you come in looking for one item and they scatter that inventory and they're pulling items off the window and putting new ones in and it's just chaotic, you need to exit the trade window. You need to message them and say, hey, I'm here for this item and this item only. Or if you want to negotiate, we negotiate new items outside of the trade window. Do not let the spazzes take control of the trade. And to finish rule number 1 off, just make sure that you are posting on Rocket League Garage for your trades. It'll make things way easier and people will be much more calculated in their approach to buying stuff from you. Rule number 2 shares some similarities with rule number 1, but it is important, and that is ignore blind trade invites. When you start accepting random friend requests and random invites, it's hard to keep track of who you're actually supposed to go into a trade with and who is just some random straggler that is trying to get a good deal or take advantage of you. 9 out of 10 times, random party invites and random trade invites do not end up being of anything of value, and they waste your time. It also increases the risk of you being hacked by accepting random friend requests. I'll be honest, I got hacked one time. I had to learn that one the hard way. I guess I accepted a friend request. I don't know. My IP address was located on the other side of the world. Like I said, this will help prevent that as well. You don't want anyone going into your account and changing your name or anything like that either. So just don't accept random friend requests or party invites unless you absolutely are certain it's someone that you are intending to trade with that you had previously talked to. Rule number 3, extremely important. You need to double check everything within the trade before you accept. You should have a mental checklist before you even press that accept button on that trade. Depending on what item you are buying or selling, this checklist might vary slightly. Included in that checklist is item name, item series, item color, item certification. This one depends on whether it's an inverted item, but an inverted item versus it being the regular item. Correct amount of credits posted by you or them. And lastly, once all of those have been checked, is that green check mark up on their side? Wait for them to put up the check mark first. I always think it's better. Sometimes you have to put it up first just to speed up the process, but that's up to you. Once this trade starts to go through, you need to keep your eyes on the screen. Don't go to your phone or start looking around. You got to keep your eyes on the screen because you don't know what the other person might try and do. Rule number 4, 14 items or less per trade. Now, why did I say 14 specifically? Because that is the most amount of items that can be traded in a single set if every paint variation, including unpainted, is a tradable item. If you are trading for sets, you only want to do one set at a time. It just makes it much easier to go over each item. Don't go into 2 sets. It can get a little dicey and you might miss a color. If you have one set, then you can be really focused and know exactly which paint types are there for that specific set. And this rule applies no matter if you are selling or buying sets or selling or buying multiple items. Do not go above 14. In fact, the only reason why I have it at 14 in my head is because of sets. If I am not trading sets, I usually don't go above 5 items in my trade window. When you start filling up that trade window with a bunch of items that don't have that much in common other than the similarity of their rarity, then you'll get confused real quick and people can pull an item off or add an item that is not what you wanted. The more items that you are trading for, the more you have to keep track of. Therefore, the risk is just inevitably higher. I know some of you will still go on to make these big 30 for 30 trades or whatever the case is. For those of you who do listen to me, I promise if you follow this rule, you will not get scammed. Rule number 5, stay off Discord. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you would know by now that I am not a fan of Discord. I never have been in terms of trading. I like Discord for everything else. I even have my own Discord page for my channel, but when it comes to trading in Rocket League, I ignore those channels. Discord is just a cancerous trade medium. All of the big channels recently have been having serious problems trying to keep scammers at bay. They've had people impersonating their channel mods and taking advantage of individuals and users on those chats. Do yourself a favor, stay off of it. Go to Rocket League Garage and post your trades and be a calculated trader. Back to rule number 1, trade with purpose, and you won't get scammed. If you have been scammed or you get scammed in the future, guarantee you broke one of these 5 rules that I have posted. I don't have to go into the different types of scams that you should watch out for. You don't have to worry about that if you follow these 5 rules. The only time I have ever run into a really hard scammer, I played him, and it was someone who messaged me on Discord about a YouTube thumbnail scam. Now, for the record, don't ever play around with them. It'll just cause more problems than not. But I did end up responding to him and retrieving all of his users, and then I ended up reporting them to every single platform. I maybe was a little hard on him, but I wasn't in a good mood that day, and I let him know. And with that, I am pretty much out of material for you today. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, because I do put a little bit of effort, as you can see, into my videos. Also, I have a Twitter, so feel free to follow me on there for updates from me. I do stream every Monday, Thursday, Friday. Sometimes it's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but check out my page. My schedule is always updated and live. And then lastly, I do have a Discord channel, so if you want to hop in and ask me questions directly through chat, I'm more than happy to answer those for you. And an update from me, I am heading into the holiday season like many of you, so I might be absent here over the next few weeks, but stay tuned. If you like my videos, I'm going to be really embarking on some fun stuff over the next few months. Why am I burping? If you don't celebrate the holidays, I just would encourage you to take a moment over the next few weeks to appreciate those who love, care, and support you, whether that's your friends, family, parents, dogs, cousins, etc. There are those out there for us who have our backs no matter what, and I think it's always important to acknowledge that. Until next time, I am out. Peace, y'all.